is your wife and mother are having a conflict and you're caught between this crossfire. You have spoken to your wife, you have tried to convince her, you have begged her not to fight with your mother, but she doesn't want to listen. On the other side, you have spoken to your mom and explained to her that your wife is a modern girl and she needs to understand. And more you try to talk to these women, the fights are only increasing and you feel sandwiched between the two. If this is you, then continue to watch this video. Hi, my name is Valerian Sequera, and I help men to create the marriage they want to live in. I help men to bring back love and laughter into their marriage. And in this video, I'm going to talk about three important elements when it comes to the conflict between mother and your wife. First, I'm going to talk about the reasons behind the conflict between your mother and your wife, the deeper reasons. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the common mistakes we men make in the relationship that worsens the situation. The third thing is I'm going to give you 5 tips and absolutely one more extra bonus tip with regard to how do you handle this situation. So before I jump in, before I talk about um, these three important elements, I want you to know whether you are the right person to watch this video. If you are somebody who wants to blame, criticize, who doesn't want to look at the situation from a different perspective, then this video is not for you. But if you are somebody who wants to learn relationship science, who wants to understand the situation so that you can improve it, then continue to watch this video. So let us start with the reasons, the why. Now, there are two levels in which you can look at this. One level is the reason is your wife doesn't want to understand. She's aggressive, she's stubborn, and your mom is old, so she also doesn't want to understand. That's the superficial reason. But there is a deeper reason. The deeper reason is basically two things, two reasons. The first one is they're feeling insecure. They're feeling insecure. For a moment, let's look at the situation from your mom's perspective. Her son has been her son for so many years. She could tell him whatever she wants to, and he would do it. He would agree to it. And now this new person who has walked into his life, and there is sort of a competition between your mom and her. Now, I want you to understand that this competition is not at a conscious level. They don't even know that this is happening. They're feeling insecure. It is happening at a deeper level. The On the side of your wife, she is also feeling insecure because she has come into this house and she wants to know. I'm going to talk in depth about this. She wants to know whether she's important to you, important to her husband. Now, because of these insecurities, whatever they are telling you, whatever is happening, is the basic purpose of them doing what they are doing is to feel secure. So the first reason is insecurities. The second reason why they are behaving the way they are behaving and there's a conflict is there's a deep desire. What is the deep desire? The deep desire that every human being has in the relationship is basically this. They want to know whether they matter. The question that they are asking themselves when it comes to your mother is asking a question is, my son is married right now, and do I still matter? Do I still matter to him after marriage? The Your wife is, you're married, she's telling herself that I'm married to this guy, and do I matter to him? When it comes to his mother, do I matter? Now this is the um first deep desire, to be mattered, to feel important. The second deepest desire that we have is to be, to feel that the other person is there for us. We want to feel that the question that is the person is asking is, are you there for me? So through all this conflict, your wife is asking you, are you there for me? Will you stand by me? Will you support me? And the question that your mother is asking you is, are you there for me? Will you stand for me when I need you the most? And of course, it is coming out in the wrong ways. So what happens to us when our mother and our wife starts fighting? we start making these two big mistakes. The first mistake that we make in our relationship is we become either Joruka Gulam or Mama's boy. Let me explain this. What happens to us is that we go to our mom, and our mom starts complaining about our wife. And when we hear our mother complaining about our wife, we think that by convincing our mother, explaining to her that their daughter-in-law and your wife is somebody who is modern and she needs to understand, your mother feels misunderstood. Your mother feels that you don't understand her. And when she feels that you don't understand her, she thinks that you are on your wife's side, and she calls you Joruka Gulam. Now, what happens to you? When you go to your wife's side and you talk to your wife, and your wife starts complaining about your mother, you think that if you help her understand the logic behind why your mother is behaving, things will be things will be sorted out. So what you do is you convince your wife. You give logic to your wife that your mother is old, she's from a village, she's not educated, and she needs to understand. Your wife needs to understand. And when you explain these things to your wife gets infuriated, and she says to you that that you are a mama's boy. And the second mistake is, so this is the first mistake. So the second mistake that we men make is we get sandwiched between the two. So let me explain what I mean by sandwiched between the two. In a unhealthy relationship, there is something called a drama triangle. So as you see it on this image, in this drama triangle, you can look at this drama triangle from different perspectives. For now, we'll look at it from your wife's perspective. Okay, in your wife's perspective, in this drama triangle, she is the victim, your mother is the victimizer, and she wants you to be the rescuer. Now when you go to your wife, or when you go to speak to your mother feels that she is the victim, your wife is the victimizer, and she wants you to be the rescuer, and you try to be the rescuer. And when you become the rescuer, you are pushed between the two. So you talk to your wife, and your wife says this, and you feel convinced, and you go to your mother and explain to her. And on one side, you become a rescuer for your wife, but you become a victimizer for your mother. Then your mother starts talking to you. You feel convinced on what she is saying, and you go to your wife. For your mother, you are the rescuer, but for your wife, you become a victimizer. And this drama triangle continues. As long as there's a drama in your marriage, you cannot have love. No matter how much you try, no matter who you talk to, you cannot have love. Your goal is to end the drama triangle. So the second mistake that we make is getting sandwiched between the two by solving their problems by talking to each other and trying to convince them. So before we go to the next part of the tips, what you need to do in this situation, if you are not subscribed to this channel, please go ahead, subscribe to this channel, because every week I put up a new video which will impact your marriage, which will impact your life. So please go ahead, subscribe to this video. And if you want to get a reminder, then click on that bell icon. And if you have liked the video so far, please click the like button. Now let's jump into talking about what do you need to do. What you need to do is these things. First, let us close this. The first thing you got to do is you got to feel the fear. What do I mean by this? What do you mean? What do I mean by you got to feel the fear? It means that you got to feel the fear that these two women are going through in this dynamics. In other words, you got to empathize with them. You got to put yourself in their shoes. If you are not able to put yourself in their shoes and feel their fear, you will be trying to solve a problem without understanding the pain and the fear. How do you do this? There's a simple exercise that I do within the community called the empty chair. Very simple. You sit in a room where nobody is around. You're all by yourself. You keep two chairs. You sit on one chair. You keep the other chair in front of you empty, and you imagine that. Let's say you imagine that your mother is there. Okay, and you have an imaginary conversation with your mother and ask your mother, why are you doing this? Every evening when I come home, you start complaining about your daughter-in-law. Why are you doing this? And then go to your mother's side and answer that question. And when you're answering that question, let the deeper self come out. Let your mother talk to you, saying that, I feel scared that someday uh, I will be thrown out of the house. So have that conversation like that. And then have a second set of conversation. In the second set of conversation, of course, you are sitting on one chair, but on the other chair, your wife is sitting. All right. And ask that same question. Every night when I come home, you complain about mother. What are you feeling at a deeper level? That is the question to ask. And then you sit on the other chair and talk like your wife and answer that question. What are you feeling at deeper level? What are those fears? What are those anxieties? What are those insecurities that you have? So this is the first step. Feel the fear. When you feel the fear, you will come out of the victim mindset. The anger that you have towards them will go down and you will start feeling their emotions. And that will make you an empathy expert. So this is the first one. The second one is listen, not to solve. So, what happens to us? We men are really logical. We want to solve the problems and we want to do it very quickly. So, what we do is, let's say we go to the bedroom, our wife starts talking about the problem, any problem that she has, starting from the headache that she has to the mother in law. We listen to it, and as soon as we get the gist of it, we know, okay, now this is a problem, let's solve it. And you start giving advice. And when you do that, your wife feels that you're not there for her because you're not listening. I know that listening is very, very difficult. But the interesting part is when your wife feels listened and you really understand the relationship science and you follow the process, what happens to your wife is she feels understood, and her anxiety that she was feeling, her insecurities go down. And more her insecurities go down, more she feels that she can manage the situation. So the first thing is listen. The second thing is listen, not to solve. You're not solving their problem. You're just listening for listening's sake. The third thing to do is empathize. What your wife wants to hear from you is, I understand what you're going through. I understand your pain. I understand your the struggles. And what your mother really wants to hear from you is, I understand being 50, being 60, being in your old age, and then I'm the only son, the dad is dead. I understand what you're going through. I understand your fears. Empathize. The fourth thing is make them feel loved. So, what are they looking for? The question that they have is, do I matter? So, make them feel that they matter. Like, for example, um, buy something nice for your wife, take your wife out somewhere. And when you do these things, you are making you are you're making her feel secure. You're making her feel that you're not never going to leave her. Do like one of the things we do in a community is I teach something called Enneagram, the personality types. And when you learn your wife's personality type, you understand what she really needs in the relationship. What are those emotional needs she has? And when you fulfill those needs, she feels secure. So take care of their needs, make them feel loved. Even in your mother's case, it is the same thing. Like we have a man in our community, and today he shared something beautiful. There was a huge power struggle that was taking place between his mother and his wife. Now what he is doing is, on one side, is taking care of his wife. He's being on our side, supporting her, and because of that they are becoming a team. And on the other side is also been taking care of his mother, taking her to the doctor when she is not keeping well, um, cooking whenever he could, washing the vessels, being there for her, having fun with her. He's doing all that. And today he shared with us that his mom gave him a chocolate and he felt really good. And his mother has stopped criticizing about his wife. Now, look at that amazing thing that's happening. Why? Because his mother is feeling loved, his wife is feeling loved. And when these two people feel loved, they are feeling secure. And at those moments, they start empathizing with you. You are getting into their shoes and they are getting into your shoes. understanding that it is not easy for you to handle these situations. And there's a beautiful thing that happens is, even when your wife complains, even when your wife complains, after some time your wife is going to say, don't worry, I'll manage it, I'll manage it. So this is the next thing: empathize and make them feel loved. The fifth thing that you got to do is empower them. How do you empower your wife? After doing these things for a consistent period of time, that is, feeling the fear, listening not to solve, empathizing, making them feel loved, your mother and your wife will come out of something called a primal panic. Primal panic is a panic we feel when we feel that the other person is not there for us and we are feeling really scared. So when they come out of the primal panic, you share your thoughts of, I understand what you're going through, I understand your pain, I understand your struggle. It is not easy to handle my mom because she is old, I understand that. you know at the same time, I don't know how to handle it. When I go to mom and if I share with her, she'll get upset with me, she will not listen. What shall we do? Look at those words, what shall we do? And when you say that, after doing these above things, that's very important. After doing these above four things consistently, that's the bonus tip I'm going to give you. Once you do these things, your wife feels loved and cared for. Then you ask her, and your wife would say to you that I'll handle the situation. I'll talk to her. I'll tell her. I will manage this. Maybe just let it go. And then you talk to your mother and you empathize with her. And when you empathize with her, your mother also starts feeling better. She also starts feeling loved. And you tell her, like, this is where I am. You know me. I don't want you to feel hurt. I don't want her to feel hurt. I want both of you to feel loved. And I feel caught between the two. What do you think I should do? And when you ask that question, your mother will say, Chalo, chodo, rehne do. And that's how you bring that connection. Now, here is the bonus tip. And before I give you the bonus tip, every week, I do a very special masterclass where I dive deep into all these relationship science concepts. And in case if you have not attended one of my masterclasses, then what I would like you to do is go to the description or go to the first comment, and you will find a link to sign up for this masterclass. It is absolutely free. So let's come to the last point, that is the added bonus, the bonus tip. The bonus tip is consistency. So, what do I mean by consistency? What's going to happen to you is you look at these things and you say, wow, this is amazing. This is beautiful, powerful. Let me do it. Great. Things will not change just because you do them. Why? Because anything in relationship takes time. Anything in life takes time. Making money, to losing weight, to getting fit, to even improving a relationship. And you got to do something for it to work consistently. Whether it is making money, you got to invest consistently. Whether you want to lose weight, you got to go to the gym or exercise consistently. Even here, you got to do these things consistently. Only when you do it over a period of time, you will start seeing the changes. So the bonus tip is you got to be consistent. And if you want to be consistent, then you got to be part of a community of amazing husbands. I call them as modern alphas or awesome husbands. If you want to become one, I told you the link is in the description or in the first comment, and attend the free masterclass and I'll tell you all about it. So that's all for this video. Before you leave this video, I want you to go to the comment section and write down what's the one thing that you have learned. I'll read it and I'll respond to you personally. And also, I want you to watch the next video. The next video is, what do you do if your wife is ungrateful to you? The thumbnail is up there. Just click on that thumbnail and watch the video. Until we connect again in the next one, always keep your love story alive.